Hello and welcome back, everyone, to Immigration Talk Show. I'm your host, Sam, and here we are another with a very exciting webinar that is lined up just for you today. So make sure to watch this session till the end, as this is going to be very informative and very impactful as well. So before diving into our today's discussion and also inviting our today's very special guest, let me read out this very important disclaimer. By watching our videos, you agree and understand that the information provided by our experts and attorneys, including comments and replies from users, is not a legal advice. So, use of information is at your own risk. All right, friends, after this very important disclaimer, once again, welcome back everyone to Immigration Talk Show. And today, the topic that we are going to talk about is very important and very timely as well. How to protect your immigration status in 2025. We all are very much aware about the new executive orders that is being implemented day by day from Trump's administration. And that too, some of the people are very concerned and anxious as well. So it's very high time to know your legal rights, to know how you can protect yourself, and also how you can save yourself, your immigration status as well. So, to help me out in this episode and even to make this episode very wonderful and very insightful, I would like to welcome our today's very special guest, none other than attorney Alessandro Giordano. Attorney Alessandro Giordano, from his own firm, Compass Immigration Law LLC, and is highly experienced immigration attorney, licensed to practice in Florida, New York, and New Jersey as well. He has dedicated his career solely to the practice of immigration law, helping individuals and business navigate the complexities of US immigration. So, hi, Alessandro. Thank you so much for being here. We are really honored, and it's so good to be here with you again, and really looking forward to this session.
Hi, Sam. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for the warm welcome. And I'm happy as well to be here and share such important insights and information with you guys.
Absolutely. All right, friends. So we are live on YouTube and available on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, or X, and on Instagram as well. So please go ahead, follow us from these many platforms. Our handle is at Immigration Talk Show. And the best thing is that you can also participate in this webinar by commenting, by putting up your questions, or put up your questions or put up your doubts on the comment section. We are here for an hour, and we'll definitely make sure that you get your answer and provide the expert advice, as we really have an expert here. So we will definitely try to provide answer to your question. All right, Alessandro. So I think let's directly come back to our very first question. And I would like to know it from you that what are the most significant changes? Let's start a session with the significant changes in the immigration laws and policies in 2025 that individuals should be aware to protect their status.
Sure. So, as most of us know, within hours of being elected, being um, uh, nominated, President Trump has issued many executive orders affecting immigration. Immigration has always been a hot topic. And within hours of taking presidency, President Trump has already proposed many changes. The very first thing that I have seen is a significant increase in immigration enforcement, targeting particularly individuals who have been in the US for less than 2 years. So the government has been using something called expedited removal, which is sort of a rapid, quicker form of removal of deportation proceeding without a hearing before an immigration judge. And this policy has expanded enforcement efforts, um, making it very important for individuals to have documentation proving their continuous presence in the U.S. for more than 2 years. Those who can do that. Then there are other policies. We have all heard about the attempt to restrict birthright citizenship, though this effort has been blocked by federal courts, and also a policy such as the Lake and Riley Act, which mandates the detention of certain non-citizens arrested for certain crimes. These are, I think, the most significant changes that I have seen. And given these changes, it's recommended that individuals connect with an immigration attorney, stay informed, maintain proper documentation, and overall seek counsel when necessary to protect their status and their rights.
Absolutely. So we got to know some certain changes and also about some acts as well that has been implemented. With that, Alessandro, I would like to know it from you that currently we are seeing so many people are being deported to their home country, right? And we have been seeing that how harshly those steps have been taken from Trump's administration side. So, my question to you is regarding those deported immigrants. Is there any chance for those deported immigrants to come back to the US and have a permanent residency? Or is it that the doors are closed forever for them?
That's a great question. I got to answer in a very lawyerly manner. It depends. So each case is unique, right? Every case is unique and it's very specific. But overall, there may be some avenues for individuals to return to the US legally after being removed. So there are some ways, some pathways to return legally to the United States even after deportation. Again, every case is unique, and we need to look at the specific circumstances. Now, the key factors in determining whether or not one may be eligible for reentry, for legally returning to the United States after deportation, are the type of removal order, the reasons for the removal order, and overall one's immigration history. So, depending on these circumstances, there are some potential options, and these options may include waivers. So, some individuals may qualify for waivers that forgive certain violations, certain grounds of inadmissibility. For example, unlawful presence, other immigration violations, or criminal convictions. Um, another avenue could be the application for permission to reapply for admission, which allows certain removed individuals to request permission to return, where they have a basis before their period of inadmissibility expires. And for example, if somebody has been ordered removed by an immigration judge, there may be an avenue, may be a motion to reopen their case in immigration court. But as I said, every case is unique. Every case is specific, and it depends on several factors. But there may be some avenues. Again, recommendation is still the same: contact an experienced immigration attorney to see what can be done in your case.
Absolutely. And that's pretty much understandable. That depends upon each case, and each case is completely different. But with that, Alessandro, being an immigration attorney, I would like to know it from you that recently, have you come across with any case or any experience with a detainee that you were dealing with? And if yes, then could you please let that experience know to our viewers as well?
Yes, I've always worked with detained individuals, with non-citizens detained by Immigration and Custom Enforcement. I've recently a recent case came across my desk. I'm currently helping this individual who's detained at a detention facility nearby, and I'm afraid that this will be more and more frequent given the efforts of the current administration to um, crack down on undocumented individuals.
Mhm. Absolutely. So, could you let us know, like, for what reason they got deported? What was that reason?
Individual is still in the United States. It has not been removed yet. Is
Okay.
being currently detained and currently undergoing removal proceedings as a detainee. As detained. He
Mhm.
was initially had some um, contact with law enforcement. Then once law enforcement has um, figured out that the individual is undocumented, they contacted ICE. So after whatever prompted an intervention from the police,
Mhm.
was kind of resolved. ICE intervened, and the individual was placed in removal proceedings and taken into custody.
That's right. Absolutely. With that, Alessandro, I would like to know regarding the rights as well. So, if someone's facing deportation, so what immediate legal actions can help protect the status?
Well, in this case specifically, the family of the individual who is currently detained contacted me immediately. That allowed a little bit of this sort of immediate action allowed me to review his documents, figure out if he's eligible for a custody redetermination, meaning custody, meaning bond, right, to be released so that he can continue his removal proceedings, his removal case, not as a detainee, not as detained, right? So the very first thing is promptly seeking legal counsel to understand what options one has, what rights. Um, Immediate actions may include, first of all, has to include contacting an immigration attorney. Then, could include applying for relief from removal. There are some benefits and some reliefs that one can apply while in removal proceedings to fight, for fight deportation efforts from the government. Um, Somebody facing deportation also has to attend all their scheduled court hearings. They have to show up to their court hearings and comply with all procedures to avoid, being penalized during the removal process.
That's right. But
And penalized, I
Alessandro,
mean, I'm sorry, not showing up to court, meaning that the immigration judge will order you removed in absentia. So it's very important to be compliant with all your mandated, hearings and appointments in court with ICE and with, the authorities in general. So show up to
absolutely,
court.
that's right. But
Actually,
also,
another thing, I'm sorry, keep your address updated. Sometimes people are scheduled for hearings, they don't update their address with the court. I've seen this happen. People get ordered removed in absentia because they don't get the notification of a new court date.
yeah.
So make sure you do everything and anything in your power to show up to your court hearings. I'll never stress this enough.
Anything else that you would like to
No,
add?
done. I'm sorry, done.
Okay, okay, that's all right. Okay, so Alessandro, now I would like to know it from you. Obviously, you gave a very good advice that one should be taking advice from the immigration attorney. But, these are the steps that most of the time people take after some time. But what happens, for example, if the ICE officials, directly come to the house of those undocumented family? So during that particular time, because that instance, it's not possible for those undocumented families, to contact the immigration attorney, or maybe they don't have, or maybe if they have, they won't be able to contact because maybe the ICE officials take
Right.
away their phones. So during that time, if the ICE officials are asking for documents or for anything, then what steps should those undocumented family or person should take?
If ICE officers show up in somebody's private dwelling, somebody's house, and they do not have a judicial warrant, which is very different from an administrative warrant, they don't have a warrant signed by a judge. You do not need to open, you do not need to let them in, right? And you also have a constitutional right to remain silent, right? These are the two things that I advise, and to obviously ask for your lawyer, right? You do not need to open unless the officer shows a judicial warrant. And in most cases, my experience is that in most cases they do not show up with a judicial warrant. They show up with an administrative warrant, which is very different, right? If they do not have a judicial warrant and show it to you, you can ask, to be shown the warrant, a judicial warrant. They can pass it under the door, from the window, whatever. You do not need to open unless they have a judicial warrant. And you also have a right to, remain silent. Um,
Mhm.
it's a constitutional right, and then you have the right to, um, ask for your attorney to be present.
That's right. But Alessandro, those are the undocumented immigrants. So do they have these rights to stay silent because it's in the constitution, right? So
Yes, yes, yes,
okay, it's going to be applicable to them as well, right?
yes, 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 absolutely.
Okay, that's great. Okay, so I think I would like to move ahead with the H-1B workers question that how much risk do H1B workers will face in 2025 and how they can protect their status?
Sure, interesting. So far, I haven't seen a specific crackdown targeting H-1B workers as of today. Maybe tomorrow we'll hear something about it, or it's happening as we speak. I don't know, but so far I haven't seen it. However, H-1Bs, like everyone else, like all non-citizens, they fall within the broader landscape of
Mhm.
stricter immigration policies and enforcement, right? So while they are not, H-1B holders are not, at least until now, not being targeted per se, as we've seen, they can still be subject to a high scrutiny, right? To increased enforcement and compliance checks, I would say. So like anyone else, they have to ensure. I recommend that they remain fully compliant with their visa conditions, right? So
Mhm.
always maintain valid employment with your sponsoring employer. Do not work for somebody else.
Yeah.
You work according to the terms and conditions of your LCA, of your petition, and of your H-1B status overall.
Mhm.
Um, Ensuring that your duties and your job location matches your H-1B status and your approved petition, um, filing timely for extensions or amendments if there is any material change, and then being prepared for visits and audits by the Department of Labor, by USCIS. So this is what I can think of as of now.
All right. With that, Alessandro, you explained about the H1B workers and how they can protect themselves. We can see that in 2025, maybe the H1B workers may face challenges and scrutiny as well.
I
So, would
kind
you
of
like to
expect that.
suggest? Yeah, please. Please go ahead.
No, no, no. I kind of expect that. It's something that I have not seen as of now, but I, I'm kind of expecting some changes there too.
I think everyone is expecting, sorry, because
Right,
that's how, because President Donald Trump has said it vocally that he is going to prefer American citizens more as compared to the foreign workers. So that's completely understandable that
right,
obviously H1B workers are going to see some challenges. We don't know what challenges it will be, but definitely some changes.
right,
So, Alessandro, is there anything else? Because most of the time people are very much into H1B visa category. Would you like
right.
to suggest any alternative visa category so that they can have permanent residency and they can work in the US, but not with the H1B visa, but maybe some other visa category that can be equally beneficial?
That also depends on the very specific situation of the person. Sure, there are plenty of visa categories.
Mhm.
Each visa category has its own requirements, its own terms, its own conditions. I don't, I, if you were to ask me about another category, I would say the same thing. If you are here, as an L1A or as an E2 or
Mhm.
O1, P visa, you name it, right?
Yeah.
Make sure you are very compliant with the terms and conditions of your visa and you do everything and anything to maintain your status. This is something that applies across the board, not just to H-1Bs. So, sure, there are many other visa categories that might, apply to one specific situation. Regardless of the visa category that you apply for, make sure you observe and respect terms and conditions that come with it.
Absolutely. I'm sure viewers are definitely going to keep that in mind. And with that, Alessandro, I would also like to know that what documents should immigrants keep updated to protect the immigration status in 2025?
Right. So again, it really depends on a specific situation. It depends if the individual is documented, undocumented, what kind of status they're in. But overall, you should keep a valid passport, your visas and all the related approval notices, your employment authorization documents, proof of legal entry, if you have it, proof of continuous residence, and then, all correspondence from immigration court, from USCIS, and from the immigration related agencies. But again, this is the answer to this question depends on the very specific situation of each person. So another reason to contact an attorney and ask this question about your specific circumstances.
Absolutely. And I think that's how, they can get the answer because each case has different things and each
Right.
case carries another importance. So, absolutely, it's a very vague topic to discuss on, Alessandro. It should be very specific, it should be very, I would say, case specific. Then only we can understand each and everything.
Let me
Okay.
add on to something. This is something that a question that came up today during a consultation. If you are a lawful permanent resident,
Mhm.
18 years of age or older, you are required to carry your green card with you. A lot of
Okay.
people, yeah, a lot of people, I hear it. Oh, I'm afraid to lose it, so I carry a copy with me, right?
Mhm.
Um, I suggest that you have to carry your actual green card. That's what the law says. Now,
Every time.
if somebody questions you or asks for a copy of it or asks to see your green card and you show a copy, they might accept it, but you are required to carry your physical green card with you.
Absolutely. I think that's a very important tip of the day, I would say. It should
Right,
be.
right, right. Yeah, and it's more of a you know very common misconception. Oh, I'll just show a copy of it. Sure,
Mhm.
but it may not be sufficient. The law says that you have to carry your physical green card with you.
That's right. That's right. Okay, I would also like to move ahead with another question, and that is about that. What specific factors does ICE look for when identifying undocumented immigrants, and also how do they detect them?
So that I know of, as of now, ICE has not issued any official notice where they detail how they quote unquote conduct their business, right? Based what I have seen so far in my experience, um, the enforcement efforts appear to be mostly focused on individuals with prior removal orders, recent entries, recent border crossers, and individuals who have been in the US for less than 2 years, and those with certain criminal convictions. This is what I'm seeing, right? Um, Also, what I've been seeing is that ICE has been um, identifying individuals through collaboration with law enforcement agencies like police, right? Um, Workplace raids and audits, um, public records, right? Somebody has a criminal conviction, it's going to be
Mhm.
most likely public record, and then what I think also data sharing with other federal agencies. These are the thing that I see, the things that I see that are allowing ICE to identify undocumented non-citizens, I would say, and they're get more insights about their specific situation. Now, what steps to ensure their safety? First and foremost, get an attorney, discuss your specific situation, right?
Mhm.
Then keep your all your documentation updated and accessible, right? Have a safety plan. Have a safety plan. Tell your family members where your documents are. Again, in this case of this detainee, family had to figure out where this person's documents were to be able to give them to me, right?
Mhm.
So make sure you have all these little, practical things in place. Then know your rights, obviously, right? Know your rights. Your right to remain silent. You can refuse to consent to searches. You don't need to let anyone um, in your house unless they have a judicial warrant, right? And then obviously avoiding unnecessary interactions with law enforcement. If you have a broken light in your car, fix that. For example, those little things to avoid unnecessary interactions with law enforcement.
Absolutely. I think these pointers were really important, and I'm sure that our viewers are getting to know a lot of things from you, Alessandro. And absolutely, because staying silent and also looking towards the judicial warrant, these are something that I don't know whether our viewers were aware about it or not, but I'm sure by having a discussion on these topics, it's really going to be insightful and memorable as well for them. So it's absolutely very important. And with that, I would also like to continue with this question that DHS has issued a directive to end the abuse of humanitarian parole. So, how does this impact individuals currently on humanitarian parole, and what alternatives are available?
So yes, this is happening. I think that what I'm seeing is that immigration agencies are kind of disregarding the fact that individuals have entered with parole, and they are indistinctively uh, going after individuals who have been in the United States for less than 2 years. These are where seeing that where I see that the immigration enforcement are focusing more on, and regardless of the manner of entry, right? So parole or not, recent border crosser, recent, more recent than 2 years, are being targeted. This is what what I'm seeing currently.
All right. With that, I would like to move ahead with my next question, Alessandro. That what steps should someone on a work visa take if they want to change employers in 2025?
Right, that's a good question. So individuals on a work visa that want to change employers in 2025 should, first of all, ensure that the new employer is willing to sponsor their visa before leaving previous employment,
Mhm.
file a new petition with USCIS before changing employment, and then I suggest awaiting approval, right, for the change of employer or the change of employment uh, before commencing, work with the new employer in a new capacity, even within the same employer. In some instances, one can begin working for a new employer when the petition is filed. But I always suggest, awaiting approval sort of gives you that extra layer of security. So awaiting approval of a new petition for new employer or new employment um, before commencing the new work.
That's right. And I think I can see a lot of viewers who has joined us. I can see Shrija, Suraj, and Sarmad as well. So thank you so much, friends, for being here and participating in this session. We will wait for 2 to 3 minutes more, and after that, after a break, we will continue with our comments and we'll take those questions. So till the time, please go ahead and post as many questions as possible, and we will definitely take them up. Alessandro, I have another question for you, and that too very important. That what should families do to stay and prevent separation under the new immigration policies?
First, I'll tell you something that I already told you and said many times today: contact an immigration attorney, contact an immigration lawyer, consult with an immigration lawyer to figure out what the best strategy is, and to learn what would be best for your family, right? But overall, families should ensure that all members have valid and updated immigration documentation, um, explore legal avenues for affirmative applications for relief, right? If you have, for example, an undocumented spouse and you're a US citizen and your spouse can get status from you, I wouldn't wait, right? Then stay informed about changes, right? About policy changes that may affect your status. Keep your documentation current, as we said before, and available, and then develop a preparedness plan in case of emergencies. That could include letting documented family members know where your documents are. What happens to your kids if you get picked up while you're at work? How do you ensure all these things? It's very important. So developing a family, quote unquote, preparedness plan is definitely a good idea.
Absolutely. And that's how it should be. And I think, Alessandro, we have covered the first part of today's session. It was really enjoying, and I'm really looking towards, what else we could have more to learn from you at the end of the session. So till then, I think let's take a short break. So friends, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back here in Immigration Talk Show. And we are really having a great discussion with an attorney, Alessandro Giordano, on the topic how you can protect yourself in 2025. So watch the session till the end, and make sure to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And we'll be right back. So don't go anywhere. Keep watching Immigration Talk Show. Hello and welcome back, everyone, to Immigration Talk Show. I'm your host, Sam, and today we have been joined by none other than attorney Alessandro Giordano. And we have a very important discussion on the topic how to protect yourself and your status in 2025. So, we have covered a lot of things in today's webinar, and also I am hoping that our viewers are really getting to know a lot of things, also the legal rights and some tips and tricks, also how you can keep yourself safe and protect your status in this year. With that, I would also like to take up some of our viewers' comments. And let's take up first Shrija's comment. And Shrija is here asking that I am currently on an F1 OPT that expires in a few months. My employer has filed for an H1B, but I haven't been selected in the lottery yet. So, what's the safest way to ensure I don't fall out of status if I don't get picked? Okay, let's answer this one first.
Well, the lottery has not happened yet.
Mhm.
Lottery will be in a little bit. It's not selection hasn't happened yet. Um, that's a good question. If you're not picked, you know, you have to make sure you comply with your. The person said in F status. Maybe
F1,
maybe
F1 OPT, yeah.
okay, maybe extend your student status, meaning going back to school, or definitely find an alternative if you're not selected in the lottery, because that doesn't allow you to file your petition and to change your status or get a change status to H1B or obtain H1B status. But again, work with either your attorney or your employer's attorney to ask these questions. These are all very good questions. Applying
Absolutely.
for another degree, sure, that could be an option, or a cap exempt employer. Sure, if you can find one, absolutely. Yeah, these are all valid alternatives. Again, there may be other, you know, solutions that apply to your specific situation. Speak with an attorney.
Absolutely. I mean, I would suggest, Shrija, why don't you go ahead and directly get in touch with our attorney, Alessandro Giordano, on the given number. And I'm sure that it will be really helpful for you so that you can have a better guidance and expert advice as well. Please contact him on the given number, that is 973 494 5649. And you can also email him on agiordano@thecompassfirm.com with the website that is www.thecompassfirm.com. So please reach out to him as soon as possible, and this will be really helpful for you. So thank you, Shrija. In case if you still have any follow-up question or need to know more about this topic, then please go ahead and let us know about it. Okay, let's take Suraj's question. I'm on an L1 and my employer is struggling. If they shut down, do I lose my status? Can I transfer to another company?
Well, as an employee, your petition is tied to your employer. So if your employer shuts down, you are at risk of losing your status. That's valid with any, even if you're on, here on an age, your employer shuts down, that can jeopardize your status. Can you transfer to another company? Again, it depends. Transferring your L to another company, I don't see how you can, because there has to be the existing corporate relationship between the company you work for abroad and your petitioner in the United States. So it's usually something that I don't see happening a lot. But again, it depends on your specific situation. So speak with an attorney.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Suraj, for participating in this session and putting up this question. Let's take up Sarmad the comment. And Sarmad is here asking, can I show a photo of my I-94 if stopped by ICE in public or stay silent?
It depends. If law enforcement asks you to identify yourself or to show an identification document, um, you have to show an identification document. That said, you have the right to remain silent, right? These are two different things. Now, a photo of your I-94, I mean, you can show it, and maybe that's not what they want to see. Maybe they want to see a proper ID, a proper form of identification. So I don't know if that's going to work, right? But definitely you have the right to remain silent.
That's right. All right. So, Sarma, thank you so much for putting up this question. And do let us know if you still have any follow up question or would like to know more about this topic. We will definitely take that question up and we'll try to provide the best answer to you as well. Okay, and with that, we have covered questions that we got from our viewers. And with that, Alessandro, we also have our viewers who has joined us on Facebook as well. So, with your permission, I would like to proceed with our Facebook questions as well.
Sure, yeah.
Okay. Okay, so this is the first question that we got, and it is anyone on an H-1B visa apply for Medicaid and got approved. I know someone else who applied and got through, but they denied my case because of citizenship requirement. She said, so I'm confused. I applied because I am currently pregnant, and I also applied for my 2-year-old son.
This seems to be more of a Medicaid related question than an immigration related question. So I don't think I can answer this question. It relates to eligibility for Medicaid.
Mhm.
I don't think I can answer the question. It's not really immigration related.
That's okay. All right. Let's move ahead with our next viewer. Darsh is here, and Darsh is asking that hello, I had H1B Dropbox for 13th Feb. Okay, and when went there for Dropbox, they denied and told there are changes in regulations on 10th Feb, and not I would need fingerprints and interview. Is anyone familiar to this scenario? Yeah, Alessandro, what do you have
Not
to
yet.
say?
I haven't come across this yet. So I can't really tell you. I can't really tell you. I'm not familiar with this.
Mhm.
That has happened to you. Um, Not yet.
Okay. That's all right. Thank you so much, Darsh, for putting up this question, and we'll try to provide answer maybe in the next webinar that we are going to have with attorney Alessandro Giordano. Till then, stay connected, and let's move ahead with another question that we got from John. Hi, recently I moved to Washington, D.C. from another state. My status is F2, for my driving license DMV asking ineligibility SSN letter from Social Security Office. Is it normal to apply for SSN ineligibility letter as a F2 status?
That's an interesting question. So, driver's license questions are state specific. Every state can have their own requirements, right? And I don't know in Washington, D.C., why they ask an SSN eligibility letter. Um, Again, not really immigration related, more state specific DMV or driver's license question related.
All right. Okay, let's move ahead with our next question that we got from Priyanka.
But
So,
other
Priyanka,
in other states, I'm sorry, in other states where I've practiced, I've never seen this kind of document asked. But that doesn't mean that Washington D.C. doesn't do that. I just don't know.
okay, that's all right. Let's move ahead with our next question that we got from our viewer. Yeah, Priyanka is here. Priyanka is asking, I have Dropbox H1B visa appointment on February 24. My previous visa was F1. Does that mean that I have to cancel the appointment and get in-person interview date as per rule change on February 10, 2025? Please advise. Thanks.
I have to review this rule. Again, I don't want to give an incorrect suggestion. I have to review this rule. If you want to reach out to me privately, I'll be more than happy to do that for you.
I'm sure. Priyanka, please go ahead and we already shared attorney Alessandro Giordano's contact details and it's also below on the screen. You can see. So go ahead, call him, email him, or you can also visit his website. That will be better for you. With that, I think we covered some questions from our Facebook as well. And let's take one more from Unmesh. So Unmesh has a question and is asking, I had my appointment for a change in visa stamping from F1 to
Yeah.
H1B on Feb 4th last week. My F1 visa expired in August. My application status shows received and my passport and documents are with the consulate. Can anyone please give some suggestions what can be done in case I need my passport for an interview? How can I get my passport faster? Yeah, Alessandro, please go
So
ahead.
it appears that this individual left or doesn't have don't have their passport, doesn't have their passport with them
Mm-hmm.
because the consulate has it for visa stamping, right?
Yeah.
So F1 visa expired in August, but they're getting a new H1B stamp, it looks like. Receive a passport card with the consulate. In case I need my passport for an interview, how do I get my passport faster? Um, if you need your original passport, I don't know, but it's always good to keep a copy of it to show if you're not in possession of your actual physical passport. But usually, when unless you're undergoing administrative processing, consulate doesn't take that long to return your passport with a visa stamp. So um,
Mm-hmm.
unless you're going through administrative processing, it shouldn't take too long. But it's always good to keep a copy of your passport.
That's right. Okay, Unmesh, thank you so much for putting up this question, and thank you, Alessandro, as well, for answering each questions very patiently, and that too in a very simple terms. I'm sure our viewers are understanding each and every thing that you are explaining them to him. With that, I can see few more viewers have joined, and let's take up those comments as well. So Siddhartha is here. And Siddhartha is asking, my OPT expires soon and I wasn't picked in the H1B lottery. Should I enroll in another degree, find a cap exam job, or is there another way to stay in status?
But the H1B lottery hasn't happened yet. This is very similar to the question from before. The H1B lottery hasn't happened yet. But if you are not picked in the H1B lottery, you can continue, studying, enroll in another degree. You can find a cap exempt job or employer, And then depending on your personal circumstances, there may be another avenue for you to stay in status. If you cannot find anything, then you may need to depart the United States.
That's right.
But
Okay.
staying in school, for example, that could be one. Yes. So enroll in another degree.
All right. Thank you so much, Siddhartha, for your comment, and I'm sure you got your answer. Please go ahead and put up any follow up question or any other doubt that you have, and we will definitely take them up. More than happy to answer your question. With that, Alessandro, here's another question from my end. That I know it from you. That can losing a job in 2025 may affect immigration status, and what steps should be followed to safeguard employment and protect immigration status? Yeah.
Yeah, good question. In certain situations, losing a job, if you are not, obviously an American citizen, or if you're not a permanent resident of the United States, losing a job can affect your immigration status if you are on an employment-based visa, or most employment-based visas um, depend on your employment, are connected to
Mm-hmm.
your employment. So to safeguard your employment and to protect your status, you may have a grace period, right? Depending on your visa classification. So you should actively seek new employment within the grace period, if you can. And you should definitely inform USCIS of any employment changes. And then, if needed be, you can consider some alternative visa options. Um, Again, it is crucial to maintain an open communication with
Mm-hmm.
your legal counsel, with your attorney during employment transitions or changes.
Absolutely. Okay, so I think with that, Alessandro, I have one more question for you to ask, and this is the question that's another very important. That with the temporary increase in H-2B non-immigrant visas for fiscal year 2025, what opportunities exist for workers, and what precautions should employers and employees take to maintain the compliance?
Sure. So the temporary increase in H-2B non-immigrant visas for can provide additional opportunities for foreign workers in seasonal non-agricultural jobs, such as hospitality, landscaping, construction, these industries and others as well, and also for employers who are experiencing shortage, right, of a shortage of labor, and they can benefit from an expanded cap, because it allows them to hire more temporary workers. Compliance is key, right? So both employers and employees must take precautions to maintain compliance with all H2B related regulations.
All right. So I think these were some of the questions, Alessandro, that I covered from my end and from our viewers also. We got to, I mean, we covered a lot of questions. So with that, I think let's have a wrap up. Let's wrap up this session. And also before wrapping up, Alessandro, I would like to know it from you that is there any tips or any last advice or any message that you would like to share with our viewers so that they can, protect their immigration status in this year?
So the first thing, as I said, contact an immigration attorney. If you're a non-citizen, contact an immigration attorney um, to determine whether or not your status may be at risk, to get some insights on most recent development.
Yeah.
Recently, I had a conversation with a lawful permanent resident, right, a green card holder, who had a minor infraction in the past, right, a minor incident with the law from some time back, who traveled abroad, right, and when returning, he encounters
Mm-hmm.
problems coming into the country, even with their green card, right? So if you're thinking about traveling, again, speak with an attorney, If you are undocumented, speak with an attorney. If you foresee any changes, right, in your employment and you're an employer or employment uh, based visa, speak with an attorney to see how these things could potentially impact or affect your status. This is the biggest piece of advice that I can give, right? There is no one fits all recommendation. Everyone has their own specific situation. Um, Speak with an attorney to get individualized advice onto how you can protect your own status.
Absolutely. I think that was a very great tip and a very informative advice also that you shared. And I'm hoping that our viewers will find it very impactful and very fruitful. So, friends, please note down these points as these pointers are very important, and that's how only you can protect your immigration status. But with that, also keeping first point in mind that what Alessandro shared, to contact your immigration attorney, that's majorly important, and that's the only way, I would say, not the only, but that's one of the most important way to save yourself. And why don't you go ahead and contact Alessandro himself as well? So please go ahead and contact 973-494-5649 with the email ID that is agiordano at thecompassfirm.com, and visit his website that is www.thecompassfirm.com. So, with that, I think, Alessandro, we had a great discussion on today's topic, and it was really great. It was really exciting, as always. I really enjoy having sessions with you,
Same,
and
same.
always look towards it. So, thank you so much for being here. It was really our honor, and we were really glad that you took us some time and joined this webinar.
Of course, Sam, the pleasure was all mine. Thank you again for your words. I look forward to being here again.
Absolutely. All right. So, thank you so much, Attorney Alessandro Giordano, for being here and making the session a great one, a wonderful one. With that, thank you so much to our viewers also who have joined us and participated in this session. Make sure to keep on posting those questions after the live stream. Also, we will try our best to provide those answers as soon as possible. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Immigration Talk Show. Today, we had a great discussion on the topic how to protect your immigration status in 2025. With that, friends, stay connected, stay tuned, and keep watching Immigration Talk Show. I'm Sam signing off for now. Goodbye, everyone, and take
Bye.
care.